Weed versus cigarettes. Which one is the most dangerous? The answer is actually cigarettes, the most legal, the one which is affordable. You can just go outside and buy. And today we are going to comprehensively discuss why cigarettes is actually more dangerous than weed. So hi, I'm Iva Mahiga. I'm an associate psychologist accredited by KCPA, and I also have a background in pharmacology of addiction and substance abuse counseling. So let's look at death toll. Weed has zero death toll. Nobody in the history of humanity has ever died strictly just because of using weed. But now let us look at cigarettes. Cigarettes has 7 million deaths each year, and this involves smokers, direct smokers, and secondhand smokers. And in Kenya, we have 12,000 deaths every year just because of cigarettes. So when we are looking at the death toll, cigarettes definitely takes it. Number two, let us look at health effects. When we look at weed, weed has less effects than cigarettes, but doesn't mean that it's zero. So when we look at weed, we are looking at weed can cause psychosis for people who already have mental health problems, for example, schizophrenia. Weed can cause developmental problems in the unborn baby when it comes to a pregnant mother. Weed can even cause short-term memory problems, rare, but it happens. And weed can also lead to a decrease when it comes to motivation. However, weed does not cause lung cancer. There's no direct correlation of weed and lung cancer, but weed can also cause bronchitis because smoke is smoke. So weed can lead to an inflammation of the systems that are in the lungs, which now can cause bronchitis. Now, when we look at cigarettes, the effects are endless. We are looking at cancer. We are looking at heart problems, stroke. We are looking at premature aging. We are looking at diabetes. We are looking at dental problems. Cigarettes has way more chronic health effects than weed does. So now let's look at addiction. Weed has a 9% chance of addiction, while cigarettes has a 30% chance of addiction. So when we look at cigarettes, the addiction in cigarettes is caused by something called nicotine. Nicotine now is the chemical compound that is in the cigarettes. When somebody smokes the cigarettes, cigarettes travel to the bloodstream, go to the brain, and it releases a dopamine feel which makes somebody feel much better. Cigarettes have actually been researched and noted to be as highly addictive as cocaine or as heroin. So let that sink in. Now, when it comes to weed, not everybody will actually be addicted to the weed, but weed can lead to a cannabis use disorder, which is now becoming a psychological dependence. Psychological dependence means emotional and mental. There's a lot of people who take weed, it's a coping mechanism to release stress, to release some emotions. And the cannabis use disorder can lead to somebody being completely unmotivated. Somebody is not handling their responsibilities. Somebody is not doing what they have to do. But it's psychological. When it comes to nicotine, when it comes to cigarettes, people become physically and also psychologically dependent, which makes the addiction of cigarettes to be much more serious, much more chronic than the addiction when it comes to weed. Number four, let's look at the withdrawal symptoms. The withdrawal symptoms of cigarettes are very severe, especially for somebody who is a chronic addict, because their addiction withdrawal symptoms is going to be psychological and physical. So somebody will be having headaches, sweats, somebody will be having shakes, somebody will be having nausea. It gets really bad. The withdrawal symptoms of weed are light and they're actually manageable because you're looking at insomnia, you're looking at headaches, and also a lot of the withdrawal symptoms are, again, psychological, mental, and emotional. You can be feeling like you're craving it, you can be feeling like you want it, but it's something that will fade off in a few days. And actually, not everybody gets withdrawal syndrome when it comes to weed. There are people who can be smoking for years and they quit once and they'll be fine. This is not the same case when it comes to cigarettes. So the withdrawal effects of cigarettes are more chronic than weed. Let's look at health effects. Weed has been noted to have several health effects and has been used medically when it comes to managing pain, managing stress, managing anxiety, and even helping somebody to have an appetite for people who have a problem eating. But now when it comes to cigarettes, cigarettes has zero health effects. If anything, cigarettes is just harmful, which usually brings the debate of why is it legal in the first place and weed is illegal. So that we have another point. Number six, we look at accessibility and reach. Weed is illegal, making its reach limited. You know, you have to find a peddler, you have to know people who know people. But cigarettes, you know, you can just go outside and buy. We even see kids being sent to buy, which I've always felt this is so bad. Kids should not be sent by anybody to go and buy cigarettes, but you know, you can just go and you can purchase. So the effects of cigarettes in the society are broader because the accessibility and reach that cigarettes has is wider than when it comes to weed. So according to my comprehensive research that you and I have discussed in this video, cigarettes has way more harmful effects and is way more dangerous than weed is or weed will ever be. So I hope today that you have learned something